How we going? How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? I'm freaking hot. Trying to think of another pool. Don't know. Don't care. What the hell? Uh-oh. It's a temp. Don't even know. What's up, devils? How's everyone doing, man? Add an option. I don't want to add an option. Will Ukraine win the war? Let's see if that one works, huh? Will Ukraine win the war? Let's see. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can win that war. Just kidding. We would. Because we are really good at going to war. If you haven't noticed, you're living in an empire, devils. Living in an empire. Alright, well, my day's pretty much done. And I'm going to head home and enjoy whatever I have to do at home. Because I got a lot of housework and more bull crap. Why is that? Oh, is it only... What? What time is it? Yeah, it's almost... What the hell's going on? Oh, that's... Oh, dude, I got super confused. Oh, boy. Alright, well... Let's roll. Let's roll. What the hell is this guy doing? Oh, people and their driving skills, brother, are awful. Awful. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. How's inflation? I keep hearing inflation's bad and people doing this and people doing that. What's going on? What is going on? As IDF went into Lebanon, they got to get their asses in gear, man. They got to move. What's up, David? Nicholas Cage grows hair? Alright. That's weird. What's up, David? What's up, Dune? How you guys doing? Welcome to the channel, man. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to vote. Nicholas Cage grows hair. Did he get hair transplants, David? I think you're losing me. You're losing me on that. How's everyone doing? Where's everyone from? State your name and rank. And what unit you're with. Welcome to Sunshine, California. Where there's homeless, bums, and a lot of hookers. It is what it is though, right? Switzer? Hey, what's up, Switzer? How you doing? A little about me, devils. I'm a former Marine vet, military police, 5811. Just here to see how the world is turning. Try to meet some new people. started this channel because two of my friends commit suicide. It wasn't fun. One shot himself and the other hung himself in his room or in his closet. So if there are any like-minded folk out there and need help or want to ask some questions about the war in Iraq or Afghanistan, I'm all ears. I have no filter, and I don't get paid to do this. I just kind of do it because I drive a lot and I'm always next to my phone. I used to instruct a police academy. I used to work for a police department all in my youth. I'm 36 and I'm going on 102 now, so I'm tired. My body is absolutely destroyed. Hence why I drive for work and I don't do those jobs anymore. But I'm still supportive of our military and our police department. So, except when they give me a ticket for speeding, I get real upset. Just kidding. What's up, Ben? Did Biden handle the Afghan situation? That's a good. Do you think war is going to affect the price of gold? Gold's worthless to me, brother. It's just a piece of metal that people put value on. It's like art. So I don't really follow that logic. God bless you. Ben, that's a good question, brother. So that we, like in 2010, 2011, when I was in the pursuit of going to Afghanistan, there's always a better way to do it. Hindsight, especially that 13 Marines died. One was from my hometown up here in Norco, California. The American Legion celebrates that kid's death. It's extremely sad. But hindsight, could have done better. But the fact that he just said, get out of there, and everyone just bailed. Man, we should have been out of there in 2010, like I said. We should have been out of Iraq in 2010. You know, before Obama's second term or whatever, we should have all been pulled out. So I'm kind of happy that he did pull out of Afghanistan, but the way he did it was just awful. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I did support his decision on getting out of there, man. I don't care about any of the materials. I don't care about anything else. The war should have been done a long time ago. We should have left that place. It was 20 years in Afghanistan and like 19 in Iraq or some crazy number, something like that. We should have been. Man, I was still in like early my 22. I remember talking to my father and another buddy of mine that served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it was 2010. I remember being at a bar, and I told my father, I was like, what? My older brother's friend that served in the Marine Corps with me, we both sat there and said, why the fuck are we still there? There's nothing there. So politically it hurt, you know, Biden or whatever, but in the hindsight of things, man, I'm glad that war is over. It was a waste of time. Just a waste. I hope that kind of helps your answer out. Ukraine will win, but the going take a long time. Yeah. Murd. God bless Simon the Bunny. God bless you too. Yeah. Any advice to someone wanting to be a cop? What should I know before taking the path? Good question, brother. So you have to look at the American population as you're not one of them. Now, if say you're a cop right now, I would strongly suggest every time you get in that uniform, you're not a citizen anymore of the country. You know, you're a law enforcement, and you're always outnumbered by the citizens, and you always should assume that Americans are always armed. So with that being said, you know, you should always be trained and taught to be kind and courteous, but you're there to do a job. Not everyone's a criminal, you know, even if when you know, like I worked in prisons and jails for a while, you know that you're talking to a piece of crap human being that's probably done the worst of the worst, but you just treat them normal, man. So when you go to jail, you know, when you work in jails and prisons, you know, you're going into their house. They live there. Drugs get into jails. Cell phones get into jails. I would just say, you know, depending on what you're doing, you're just there to manage the chaos. You know, you don't be the hero busting down the door and you know, always be kind, polite, courteous. You know, I don't want you to think that, because it will start eating away at your like psyche, Ben. You know, you'll just start assuming the worst in people, you know, because you don't want to, your brain won't want to deal with the finding out part of it. So when you're in uniform, you know, you got to be in uniform. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have to follow and maintain discipline. You have to have honor, courage, and commitment, you know, all the time. And then when you're out of uniform, you have to switch it off. You can't look at people like they're criminals, you know, even because you'll see, you know, you'll see the worst people all the time, and that will just harden your brain and your heart to you know, just to believe in people, really, and it will affect your love life. It will affect your household, like if you're with your parents and your brothers and sisters, your girlfriend, boyfriend. So you have to learn how to laugh at your whole situation. It's very difficult, man. It really is. You can't, and I would always suggest, Ben, your number one mission when you leave your house, whether it's this job or working as a police officer, your number one mission is to get home, right? I mean, that's, if we go on a mission together, you and me, I'm going to say, hey, man, our number one job is to get home to our loved ones. If there's a situation where it might take both of us, might get us in harm, guess what, brother? We let it go. You know, we let it go. We don't, let's not go down that path, and let's not get injured. All that other stuff, the shooting, the arresting people, you'll get taught that, the handcuffing, you know, how you're gonna have to be very vocal with people. You know, I don't know how old or young you are. You know, you're gonna deal with older people that have no idea what you're talking about, that weren't raised with cell phones and stuff, you know. And you're gonna deal with young little shitheads, people that don't speak English. You know, America's a wonky country, man. So you know, I always say when I'm in uniform, I don't know who's an American and who's not. So I treat everyone the same, and then they tell me if they're an American or not. Does that make sense? You know, if I talk on the street and they give me a little respect because I'm in law enforcement, I'm saying, hey man, thank you, I appreciate it. I'll let you off this time with a speeding ticket or whatever, you know. But some people have to go. You know, the minute they start running their mouth, they're getting pulled out and thrown in jail because I'm not dealing with that shit. So it's kind of a you have to have you have to have heart, because the job is really tough. You know, you're going to be dealing with other people's bullshit and not your own, basically. So, you know, you'll go to domestic violence calls. You'll see 55-year-old people beating each other up, you know, like they're 10 because they didn't get along or they're drunk. A lot of drugs. There's a ton of drugs around here. You'll never cut the drugs out of society and whole. You just got to manage it. You know, when I was working for the police department, we never. I don't think I've ever took anyone or dealt with anyone that had weed on them. Like, who cares? I grew up with weed, and who cares? You know. So you have your own personal, you know, growth to go through and opinion. people, have a little dime bag of weed and it's, throw it away. So tell them to get out of here, man. Minor, there's, they jacked a car, you call the parents. There's, you're almost like a father to the people that you arrest. At the same time, you're not there to hurt anyone. You don't want to give a 19-year-old kid a felony, so maybe try to bust it down. It's kind of up to you, man. You have, or you can go in there and be RoboCop, I always tell people, don't be a RoboCop. Just be yourself, and, people will respect you and have some sort of authority in your voice. You'll get taught that. I'm 23 and work as a paralegal, but law enforcement is definitely interesting to me. Try to see if there's like a police academy you can go through. Maybe it's one day a week, and they kind of show you how it all works, because you're going to stand in formation at the academy. It's like a little boot camp. You're going to stand in formation. It's going to be Monday through Friday. You're going to get a salary. You got to shave every day. There's no, I get little peach fuzz. That's why I got to shave every day. Your haircut's got to be clean. And that's just like, if you can deal with that, and, you're going to be yelled at all the time. So, there's drill instructors. I was kind of a drill. So there's a short of me marching, and there's a group of cadets that are in their white suit and tie. That's the only picture I really got. I have more. I'll try to post more, but we just took pictures, and it's kind of private. But there's young bucks from 16 to 39 in this class, and they had to go through this police academy to get certified to go into the law enforcement field. But you're gonna have to learn how to. There's the language, the jargon that officers use is kind of repetitive, so that's where you learn it. You're gonna learn your PC decks, your penal codes, which is a PC, your VC, your vehicle codes. So, and it is tough work, man. Being a cop is not easy, and you got to remember, you have a gun, a taser, a baton, pepper spray or mace spray, whatever they call sea spray. And when you approach someone and you're gonna arrest them or go down, it's always scary that you can F up and the law will smash you back, because I know you heard people, officers getting in, like the George Floyd thing up in Baltimore. Shit happens, man. Always be careful. They have good pensions and good pay. So if you do like 10 years and you quit, you get like half your pension. I know a couple of my buddies have been in the Marine Corps I was military police in the Marine Corps. So out of the Marine Corps, we all kind of joined the police department, and I only did like 3-4 years, and then 3 years. But a lot of my buddies did 10, and they quit after that. But they got like a 50% pension. And it's real boring too, to be quite honest. You're going to be sitting there because crime has to happen, and people have to call 911 depending on what's your job. So, there's no. I used to work from like 9:30 to 10 at night. Graveyard shift to 7 in the morning. Right when I got on work at 10 at night, shit was hitting the fan. DUIs, a lot of DUIs, a lot of drugs, a lot of domestic violences. And then by like 3 or 4, it calmed down till about 6 or 7. Then it picked up for like car accidents. You get a lot of vehicle accidents, a lot of TCs, a lot of DUIs. What's up, Losi? How you been, brother? How you been, man? got Ben in here asking me some good questions about law enforcement and what he should expect. And that's why I can talk all the time. I can talk someone's ear off. I don't like talking, but if it's about, because I was military police and an officer for so long that I instructed it for about 10 years. So it kind of, it's repetitive training. Always think about it as training. It's not a job, it's not a career. You're always training, always learning. Things are always adapting. Rules are always changing. Laws are always changing. When I was working at the police department, we had a law change that in a domestic violence call. I'm sure you guys, probably heard this on a show or something where the cop shows up and then, the husband beat the wife, or the wife sometimes does hit the husband. That's a true thing. And you just see the weirdest crap inside people's houses and the way they think. It's incredibly insane, man. You have to, you got to be headstrong, brother, because it's a normal person going into an insane asylum. You're gonna go crazy. The crazy person going to a normal building, they're still gonna be crazy. So. But domestic violence, when the husband or whoever called the 911 and whatever we decided on who was at fault, sometimes back in the day, we would, the wife would say, are you going to press charges? And whoever was the victim would say no. Okay, well, then we're out. No one wants to press charges, we're out. Makes sense, right? That changed where I live in California. If there's a domestic violence call, the man is going to the jail pretty much 90% of the time. Men usually are the ones doing it, but it's up to the officer to decide who's at fault and who's not. But more than likely, the man will go to jail because there's been too many incidents. One rule will set you free type of deal. It's the wife would say, oh no, I don't want to press charges against my husband. We would leave, the husband would kill the wife, and that would be it. So I would tell you, brother, if you go out on patrol and never expect to use your gun, I suggest you stay home. And this job's not for you. You should never expect to be using your sidearm at any time of the day. That's not happening under my watch. I would tell you, you hear stories, they draw their gun, they think the person has a weapon, it's a 15-year-old kid, and they shoot him with he's holding a cell phone. In the military, in my world, in the military police and the Marine Corps, and then I taught, like I'm talking to you, Ben, I would say, hey brother, if you see someone and you're scared that he's going to shoot you, or and you want to pull out your gun, I would say stay home. You're probably going to get shot first if I'm your sergeant. I hate to say it, dude, because I'm not going to deal with you shooting a 15-year-old. I don't want that on your conscience. I know your life's precious, but if I'm instructing a class or a course, a school circle, and you're in fear of your life, then welcome to the job. If you get, you need to be quick on your draw. This is a duel like cowboys and Indians. So when you better have your light. You better know what a weapon looks like. You better know the person you're talking to. You got to see his hands up. Agent 205, my security officer. How you doing, brother? How you doing? Hey, Agent 205. Ben's looking into law enforcement also. So I'm just answering some of his questions. And you're 23 now, Ben. That's a good age to join. I would, if you're clean, you gotta take a polygraph, a drug test. Try not to lie on the polygraph. I hope you don't do drugs or smoke weed. Other than that, man, it is a fun job. You just have to be very flexible. You can't take anything personal. That's the bottom line. If I call you, because you're going to deal with hardened criminals that do this for a living. And when you go in the jail cells, or you deal with the guy that you just arrested, you know, you don't know who they are. You don't know what type of weapon they have. In jails, they could be a child molester to rapist to doing 25 to life, multiple life sentencers. So you have to treat everyone the same. If you treat the piece of crap over here better than this piece of crap, they're gonna see it. So in the jail cells, you're gonna really have to just do your job. You know, I would walk around the jail cells and I kind of would walk loud, because when they're in their cell, that's their home, and they'll have drugs, they'll have cell phones, who knows what they will be doing to each other. But when I'm on duty, I don't want to deal with their shit. So, but with that, if I ever caught them, you know, you got to lay down the hammer. You know, so that's the difference. That's the best advice I would tell you. I treated everyone the same. It's not you're not a judge. You can't sentence anyone. You're a law enforcement custody officer, or there's the people that actually work in, like, oh man, you know, you can work for the parolees. That's not your job. Your job is just, hey man, what happened? And you kind of write everything down, like, good, just had a call, nice. Like an agent is a security guard. You observe and report. That's kind of the same way law enforcement is. You observe and report. If someone acts a fool outside of, you know, like in civilian life, so all this stuff out here, everything you see to me is civilian life. I'm not a part of civilian life. I never been since I was 17. The minute I left for the Marine Corps, this is all, the way you guys dress is civilian clothes. The way you guys speak is, you speak like a nasty civilian. The way you walk is disgusting. Like, everything civilians do it doesn't make sense to me, because you're not in uniform. You're not a uniform lockstep. You know, the Marine Corps, I know what the Marine next to me is going to do. I know what he's going to say. I know what he has in his pockets. I know everything. If I grab Joe Schmo right here in that truck, dude, he could be from fucking China for all I know. I don't know what his deal is. So you talk to him like a person. Hey man, don't bullshit me. I won't bullshit you. But you did fuck up, and you're going to take this ticket. Bottom line. If you have any games with this, then it's going to just get worse. You know, the person you deal with will de-escalate it, not you. If they escalate it, you tell them, hey, all right, well, you guys get out of your cell. I smell something, or I heard your little gay phone. Get the fuck over here. I'm going to break that phone and throw it away. And you toss all their crap out their cell. You know, they become like children, almost. You know, when your parents went in your room or someone messed up your stuff or took your stuff. Kind of the same situation. You have to, and you got to be, your head's got to be on a swivel. You got to know your surroundings. You got to be accurate with your shots if you end up shooting your side piece. It's a tough job, Ben, but if you're motivated to do it, to be an officer of the law and have people defund the police and all this other nonsense, man, people respect that, absolutely. But you can't do it for the respect. You can't do it for the attention, or, you know, if you're doing it for, if you think ladies like it, they don't. They'll probably divorce you because you'll be gone a lot. But it's a stable job. You know, you won't, very hard to be fired, or, you know, we always need police officers. So it just depends on, you know, what's in your heart, man, because those police academies are pretty tough. If you've never been in one, you know, you're going to stand at attention. You're going to learn how to probably salute. It's all training, man. I have to, because when you meet someone like me in the academy, I'm gonna try to break you, mentally. I will never touch you, put hands on you, but you're gonna do what I say, and if you don't, you're gonna be kicked out, or and it's all just military basic stuff, or standing in formation, marching, very important. Yeah, no, I was gonna say that TikTok, but one of my shorts is just a picture of me marching with the recruits I have, and just the left face, bow face, right face, open ranks, closed ranks, so it's a lot, and a lot of studying. It's not all fun and games, it's kind of a drag, man. So I just want you to be prepared. I don't want you to go into it, all sunshine and rainbows and sunflowers, where, it's a tough one, and it will harden you. Mentally, physically, and you'll throw down with some fools too. Yeah, man. That's the best part. That was the best part. When someone wanted to get their ass beat, we would beat the shit out of them. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's not easy being a cop. They work long hours. Oh man, incredibly long hours, Ben. Incredibly long hours. You're right, Lucy. It's not easy being a security guard. No, it's not easy being a security guard either, dude. You're basically a cop, just one level below it, and you can't carry a weapon. Which I don't do it, man. I wouldn't carry a weapon. A weapon doesn't make your situation really all that better. It could actually make it worse depending on what's happening. Some people don't care whether you're a cop. Ben, if you arrested me and I can smell the rookie on you, I would rag on you, man. I would try to make you F up. Like if I got arrested right now from a cop, I would attempt to get him to mess up so I can try to sue the police department. Right, dude? I mean, that's basically everything in a handbag. That's because I know what they have to do. I know what they can and can't do. I've done it. I've done it for years. Things don't really change. So, there's little tricks of the trade to be had. You'll learn from more of a salty officer, like when you hook someone, you get handcuffs. And if he's a real douchebag, there's a little lock. You can lock the handcuffs so they don't close on the wrist. Well, if you don't lock it, that steel will close shut on the wrist, and it hurts like a mother effer. I've been handcuffed many a times, and I got a scar on my wrist from that handcuff. But if if you're a douchebag, I won't lock the handcuffs in place. I'll put you in the back of the black and white, and you'll lean back on your own wrists and crush your own hands. And I am telling you, you're like, oh man, that can't. Let me tell you, man, steel does not feel good on bones. It really, really hurts. Really, really hurts. So there's little tricks to the trade, where I can jack you with being a douche. We have to worry about people with guns, yep. The property being robbed, yep. Anything that involves crime on the property, yep. Yeah, Agent 205, you always got to assume, just like I just told Ben that you got to always assume people are armed. That will make your job easier, because you'll talk to them nicer, right? That's equality. I said this many times. Equality comes out of the barrel of a gun. If I'm an officer and I'm gonna arrest a female, the odds are me pulling out a gun on a 95-pound young lady slim, right? I'm not gonna pull out my gun to freeze, get down on the ground, no. Excuse me, ma'am, you want to get down on the ground before I throw you down, right? Let's switch it. I'm the criminal, and there's a 90, 100-pound officer, and she tells me to get down. No, I'm not listening to you. I'll crush you, little lady, right? How did she get me on the ground? Get down on the ground, taser or a gun. I prefer you pull out your weapon, but you pull out your weapon, you point it, and say, if you don't get on the ground, shit's gonna get ugly. But you don't point a gun at someone and just tell them to get on the ground. Maybe a taser first. Depending if they have a weapon, or if you're in fear of your life, you pull that fucker out and you smoke dudes. But that all depends on situation. Just don't be the one shooting people in the back. Or if you're a female, just be careful dealing with men, because men will just grab you. Equality comes out of a barrel of a gun. That's equality right there. If a young officer lady pulls out if I'm doing something criminal, and the only way a female's gonna stop someone is if they pull out a gun on the man. That's what I've seen. That's what I know. I've seen it in multiple career paths. So back, my phone just lagged out. Oh, no worries, brother. No worries. And my phone will lag out too, so we're all in the same boat. But security officers has a little more responsibility, because they gotta make sure property's okay. If there's a homeless guy there, they gotta deal with that dude. And homeless are just as bad as anybody else, probably the worst. Every morning, one of my good friends worked at a college, and he was the officer or the cop on the college. And every morning at like 4:30, 5 o'clock, he would go and sweep the homeless, the bums out of the school. Very nice, prestigious school too. This is in it's UCLA, University of Los Angeles, or University of California, whatever it is. UCLA, USC. It was UCLA, very prestigious school. He had to go there every morning to start his job. This is how he started his job, every morning for years. This is what I'm saying. It can wear on you, man, so be careful. He would start his job not by like kissing his girlfriend goodbye and gonna get a cup of coffee and to stretch out in the car before you clock in at work and do this and do that, whatever it is. The first thing he did at work was go and help pick up and move a bum that would get so drunk the night before he would always pass out on the same bench. He would always pass out on the same bench and throw up on himself and shit himself. So he had to literally sweep this guy out of the campus so students didn't have to deal with a guy with feces everywhere and throw up everywhere. And this guy, he would sleep in his own stuff, So that's how you sometimes will start your morning, man. So just be careful. I really don't like kicking homeless off the property. I do give the homeless food. Property too, that's kind of up to you, man. Like, you're the one out there, you can make the call. Whatever call you make, you stick by it, right? Whatever call you make sure that's the one. You can't flip-flop. If you're like, hey, this property is just a big warehouse, the homeless is sleeping right there, I'm not dealing with that shit today. He's not bugging anyone, and he leaves like when the property opens again, or depending on the situation. Situation dictates. You gotta. Every situation is different. The more situations you put yourself in, the more knowledge you gain, and the better off you can handle it, because everything will be repeated, right? How many criminals are there, and how many laws they break? They always break the same ones over. It's a cycle of people that always commit crimes. I have a buddy that works in a Supermax out in the desert. So he gets a lot of heavy hitters, shot callers, and multiple life sentence dudes, a rapist, a lot of child molesters. So he'll know a guy that's doing 20 years. The guy will get out. A month later, he'll be back in. So it's the same people that commit crimes are always the same people. Very rarely does an average Joe civilian go out there and commit a crime. Criminals are criminals, and that's who they are. I'm a worker bee. I like to work, so that's what I do. I'm sure you guys like to work and just be normal. Criminals are always criminals. People that protest, like Black Lives Matter and all that, they will protest Save Gaza, they'll protest Free Palestine. It's the same people. The same people protest all that other stuff are still protesting all the new stuff. It's all the same people. I guarantee it. It's all, and you can tell by what they wear. They all are uniformed. If you look at their picket signs, they'll have all the same lettering or paint, or the exact same goddamn sign with a little stick. Like, where do you find that stuff that fast and then make it in mass? Where they had the pink hats on, the female march. Someone made that and then established a day they can go wear it. Like, that's a uniform thing that comes from somewhere. So always be careful with that. And you got to be careful with the gangs. The gangs, gangs are not that bad because they just want to be gang members, which they think that's tough. I don't know why being a gang member, people think they're tough. It's quite the opposite, because if you're tough, you know yourself, and if you have a weapon on you, sidearm or something under the belt, you don't need to be tough. Gang members project their toughness because they're scared, and that's why if I'm scared in the woods, I'm going to get another human to help me out in the woods, right? That's a little gang because of bears. Bear's not teaming up with another bear because the bears aren't scared. So gang members are usually scared and very stupid. A lot of immigrants you'll meet, man. There's only so much you can do. It's so little time. You're only working 8 to 12-hour shifts. The objective is to go home safe. If that's not your number one objective, I suggest you pick a different career path. But it's one hell of a ride, man. You'll enjoy it. You'll learn a lot. That's for sure. You'll learn a crazy amount of how the United States works, and the minute you leave one state and go to another state, the laws are kind of the same, but a little different. Depending how liberal depending on what state you live in, Ben. If I lived in Chicago or New York or Seattle or Oregon, like those very, very liberal towns, man, I would not be a cop out there, because you have to make sure the local government likes police and defends police officers. If they do not, and something happens, they're gonna burn you to the ground, dude. And that's the best advice. That happens in the Marine Corps. If you get investigated, the city might not back you anymore. Now you're a cop doing 10 years in jail. That's not good. Not a good thing. And there's no not really a code of blue, or dude, that does not exist unless I don't know that it does. I know a lot of friends that are police officers. They just do their job and come home. There's no little code of blue where cops have each other's back and won't say anything. I mean, I wouldn't rat on any other cops, but but at the same time, if shit, like, you don't want to be the one going to jail. The police department will turn on you if you're a shitbag. You know, the Marine Corps will kick you out if you're a shitbag. So I'd always just tell people, like a couple of my buddies, are, I did all this at a very young age, so a lot of my buddies waited till they were older to become cops or work in the prison systems. Always treat people like you're gonna treat a friend, like me. Have your own set of rules and regulations in your own mind. I'm not dealing with people that try to bullshit me. If you can hear people start, and every time someone gets arrested, they swear to God. It's a thing that they always do. I swear to God, I didn't do it. I swear. They'll hit their head against stuff. They'll bang their head against the windows. They'll spit on you. They'll throw their shit and piss on you. We call it gassing. They'll poop and pee in their hand and then throw it at you like a monkey. You know what? You come home, you're gonna deal with people that have HIV, AIDS, hepatitis, full of needles. Homeless have diseases on them, bro. Like, they're diseased people. They'll have fungus growing on them. You'll see dead. One of my last calls was a dead baby. I had to go to a pool, a house. I heard there was a dead body. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to this call because someone might go down and get arrested. That's where I come in. So I go there and I go in the backyard because they had a bunch of cops with their ambulances. There's a family having a party. The baby fell in the pool. No one was looking at the baby for, it only takes seconds. Dead baby, DB. That was one of my last calls. There was a Mexican dude, probably from Mexico. He reminded me of my grandpa. So, mijo, it's okay, mijo. I don't need a hospital. He was drunker than shit. Construction dude, probably in his 50s or 60s. He's probably dead now, but I was like, yeah, man, like, you're gonna go to jail for a DUI. It's no big deal, pops. You're fine. You'll be out in 3-6 hours. He goes, okay, mijo, let's go. So I was like, all right, you gotta turn around. I gotta, cuff you, brother. He was super nice. He knew he was going to jail. He was like, yeah, whatever, let's do it. I'm tired. He wants to go to bed. So I was like, cool, man. I didn't then that's another thing. You don't know if people are from the country or not. It doesn't matter. We people all the same. So he stands up and he goes, no, like, no cuffs. I go, well, now it's about to get ugly, motherfucker, because I'm going to put these cuffs on you. But he rolls up his sleeve and half of his forearm was gone, dude. Like, it was a chunk of it was gone. You can almost see the bone in his forearm, like the meaty part. And holy shit, man! It's like it looked like it was gross, dude. I don't even know how to explain it, but it looked like someone took a cleaver and cut his whole arm kind of clean off. And I was like, oh, what the fuck? His hand was swollen, so I couldn't put cut. Obviously his whole arm was. He couldn't move. It was pretty much dying. I guess what I'm trying to say. He couldn't move his fingers anymore. It was just an arm, and it was swelling. It kind of smelled, but it smells like cheese. I was like, dude, we need to get you to the hospital. And he goes, no, I'm okay, no insurance, I'm like, dude, they're gonna cut your arm off. I ended up taking him to the hospital, and he had to stay there, man. I think he got his arm fucking amputated. Like, it was turning, yeah, it was like kind of a circle, and it was like glistening, but it was turning green and on the outside. And I was like, dude, what? So you'll meet people that are just, I don't know if you're, I'm assuming you're not, if you're 23, so I'm just assuming that like you kind of haven't been outside the United States yet. A lot of people are poor. What I mean, not like money poor, but mentally poor, money poor, and they just do things because they have to. So, selling drugs, some people do it because they need the money for whatever goddamn reason. Some people do it because they think it's cool, you know? So you gotta figure out who you're talking to. Like the guy with the arm, dude, he was like, yeah, cut it off. I don't cut off my arm. He still has to go to work tomorrow morning. That's my point. Like, people live for the moment just in that day, and tomorrow, whatever happens, it happens. The guy still has to work construction the rest of his life. I don't think he had there's no way that arm was saved. No way. It was, I mean, his fingers were huge, man. So, you're going to get a sense of reality how other people live besides you. And you're not, you don't know if they actually are a citizen of this country or not. So that's not your problem. People speak different languages, but in a sense, everyone basically only speaks English. I hate to say it. If you meet someone that doesn't speak English, he's fucking lying to you. Or doesn't understand it. You go to Mexico and people understand English, so. You want to do business, you got to know English because USD, baby. You go to Mexico, you give someone $1 or a peso, they're going to take the dollar. So you'll realize how poor people live, and then you'll realize how rich people live. And rich people are just as stupid because they don't know where things come from. They have a weird sense of reality that they see. One rich older lady, she was probably in her 70s at this time. She would get shit canned at the bar, at the local pub, get arrested almost every weekend. Instead of taking her to jail, because she's an old lady, we just don't take people to jail all the time. It's up to the law enforcement's discretion to also let you go. We call it citing out, so we cite you out. This older lady was old. She was drunk a lot. Very wealthy. So, I mean, we all knew she was wealthy. This isn't a secret thing. Like, everyone in the police department knew. So we always cited her out, and she always had to come back, in a month or two for a court day. It's a catch and release, but it was up to us. One, we don't want to take an old lady into a drunk tank. Just not a good idea. Two, she was so wealthy, lawsuits could be thrown at us like it's cool. Who knows? Her wedding, and she would always wear jewelry. Another thing, ladies wear jewelry. I'm not gonna take off an $80,000 wedding ring. That's just not good. And if we lose it, we're in trouble for it. So property, personal property is a very big thing. Unless you're a shithead and you have a phone, I'll break that motherfucker. Oops. So we would cite release this lady, and we would physically, or I would physically have to drive her to her house and walk her in her house. And she had a ticket, like a speeding ticket, but a DUI or drunk in public a lot. Or she would fight at the bars or something. But and her husband was always there, always home. But he was deaf and I think handicapped. So, you just kind of, that's a head scratcher. You just don't know what, there's a rich older lady getting shit canned, wearing all her jewelry, going out, getting hammered, getting arrested. They're so low, dude, their house was huge. I know big houses, brother. I live in California. I seen them. This house looked like they're called like Colonial House or something. You know, huge front yard, long driveway. It's like Home Alone. You've seen the movie Home Alone. That house, you know, like three windows on each side, door in the middle, and 3 stories up, and then a basement. And she had this huge I mean, it looked. This tree in her front yard was just massive, man. I can't understand how. I just don't know. There's things I just don't know. Mr. Beard. Mr. TV. There you go. Beard. Bread. Beard. Bread. I don't know, man. Mango. You're do. All right, there you go. Freaking weirdo. Mr. TV, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the hellhole. Welcome to the compound, devil. If you spam stuff like that again, I'll arrest you. Hook and book, devil. Yeah, so Ben, I hope that helped you out a little bit. It's just, you know, the problem is you go from one call to another, so you never, you know, you deal with the homeless guy in the morning, you get fecal matter all over your hands and pee, and you gotta smell him, so you wash off, you clean up. After you deal with him, next call comes up, it might be a DUI, so you go and take them to jail. Great. Come back. What's the next call? It might be a domestic violence. Great. So now the guy that beat up his wife, you have to take, if he got hurt too, which they all get hurt, you got to take to a jail, or we call it jail check, which is, I don't know why they call it a jail check. Basically take a person to the emergency room so you don't take them to jail all jacked up, so they can get fixed. Or if they have a heart problem, you know, they'll say, hey man, I have a heart problem, I might need to go to the hospital. So the guy that just beat up his wife and is probably on drugs and meth and whatever else, booze, so yeah, okay, you have to baby the shithead and take him to jail check, take him to the emergency room, where he sits there in handcuffs, you know, until he's ready to be called. And it's just a normal jail or a normal hospital with the emergency room. So you have to babysit him and make sure they don't bug anybody else or go after the nurses. They will go after the nurses, man. The nurse will be taking his pulse, you know, his heart rate and whatever, and they'll spit at them. The minute I unhandcuff them, they'll try to grab them, the nurses, or fight me. So that was always fun, because in these emergency rooms there's no cameras really, and this was back in the day where there wasn't that many cameras, but still, I said that like we did something illegal or like whatever. But if they spit on a nurse, you absolutely have to hammer that home, dude. And all the officers in the room will jump in, and you know, if my inmate, you know, if my guy that's in my custody spits on a nurse, the officers to the left or right of me that are there too, because they have their own, it's just one hospital. Every city will merge on one hospital, all the different officers from different, they'll jump in and start hitting the guy with you. And you know, if one of those guys, but the nurses are off limits. So that's what I'm trying to say, and I think we can all respect that. The nurse trying to help a fucking piece of shit guy, doesn't deserve to get spit on or whatever. So there's that, man. And it's just, I mean, there's a million scenarios I could walk you through, and which I'll try. I'm just, that's why I keep rambling. And other officers you have to watch out for, because you don't want to get in trouble with them, because a lot of people are shady, man. You just don't know who you're working with. It's your life. So when you have a job like that, it's your life that you're dealing with. You're walking around with a gun, the most serious tool you can ever hold. You know, if it's not a gun, it's a hammer or a knife or a machete. So your job, you have to be on point a lot of the times, man. You can't go to work tired or sick. You know, you're gonna deal with people. Ah, man, it can go on and on. Heroin addicts, oh my God, there was one girl, she was 9 months pregnant, she had track marks, all nasty track marks, and she was still slamming heroin with that kid about to explode from her belly. The minute she had that baby, because we caught her with heroin, she was like passed out with a needle in her fucking arm. So we woke her up, you know, we kind of arrested her, made sure she was, you know, up to speed with her situation. She got a ticket. We made sure she was sober-ish, and we let her go. We can't take a 9 month pregnant lady to prison. We site released her, said you got to show back up on this court. Literally a week later, she had the baby, and the state of California does not want to have that hospital delivering a baby. So just heads up. She had the baby, got caught for heroin again. I took her to jail. Now the kid's probably a heroin addict or a drug addict in a foster home. And the cycle continues. That's how the cycle continues. Dumb, poor people have dumb, poor kids. And I'm not talking money-wise. Money won't change poor decisions. People live like they're poor and act like they're poor. They will be treated as such. No one's equal. I'm not equal to a homeless guy. I'm not equal to an inmate. Nor am I equal to an officer. I'm your own person. You make your own rules for your life, and you uphold those. You don't project those like Sigma Man projects his rules on me, saying I should turn to Jesus. No. See, that's projecting your bullshit onto someone else. And you can't do that. If someone wants to break the rules and laws, go for it, brother. I'm not going to stop. You know, you're going to end up stopping yourself, and I'll just take you to jail. That's how it usually works, you know. And then someone has to call 911. It's not like a thing, you know, cops don't show up out of nowhere and bust down the door and take you to prison. Someone has to call it on you. So, you know, you can't. Yeah, you're just babysitting. Am I up? Am I live? Yeah, I'm live now. Yeah, you're just watching. They don't, you know, and when you're in jail or in the big boy prison, you know, there's rules you have to abide anyways. So you're always handcuffed by rules, which should be safety rules. So if, you know, if there's a inmate over yonder and they get in a fight with another inmate, you don't go in there and try to stop two inmates fighting, right? That's kind of dumb. You're outnumbered. Is call your boys and they get there and then they deal with it. So if you ever seen a bunch of cops at one house, or like, you know, I'm sure someone, as you drive by, you see like 10 cops, you know, arresting one person. Well, that's because we don't know that you're armed. So we always want to outnumber you in any way, shape, or form. You know, and that's the rules inside prison too. You know, if there's two guys fighting, I need 4 people with me, including myself, so 3 extras. So there's 2 inmates and 4 cops. It's not one good inmate. I'm not the judge. I can't judge people. I just know that's you, and I got, you know, you're wearing that uniform, and I'm wearing this uniform. You know, inmates are wearing a jumpsuit. I'm wearing a police uniform, and this person right here is wearing a civilian uniform. Which is whatever, you know, I'm wearing a civilian uniform. It's whatever civilians want. So you don't know this life, the civilian life, it should be after the academy, and it should look different to you because you just don't know who's who. You know, if you go to Germany, guess what? Everyone's there. It's German. If you go to Mexico, everyone's Mexican. If you go to Spain, everyone's Spanish. You go to Japan, everyone's Japanese. You go to China, everyone's Han Chinese. You go to Russia, everyone's Russian. You go to France, everyone's French. You know, so forth and so on, except for this country. You don't know who's who. It's great. It's honestly a great. And you know what? The foreigners that come here probably will give you more respect than your average American, and that's probably the truth. Because a foreigner, someone from Mexico or you know, even you know, anywhere in Europe or anywhere in Asia, especially Asia, they have to respect authority. They have no choice. And if they don't, they usually get their asses beat. So it's just, you know, you gotta. So when you deal with someone from and you hear an accent, you can probably lower the craziness down. So, because they know if you go to Mexico and you fuck with the cops out there, they'll kill you, man. They'll throw you off a bridge. They don't give a shit. You go to China, you're done. Japan. Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, you know, you have to give those guys respect because they'll F you up. And there's no weapon. We're the only country with weapons, so you have to remember that the reason why people don't respect police officers or don't do a lot of things is because we're all of equal. Because the citizens of the country have weapons. That's fine. I'm 100% okay with that. I wouldn't want to live in a country that didn't have the citizens buying. You know, are you scared that you know, the citizens of your country are going to overthrow the government, or you know, so what? So it's one hell of a working for a police force and being a military police. You see a bunch of crazy stuff. You can't let it affect you, man, because it will affect your psyche. You know, whether you think it is or not. You know, you don't go home and be like, oh, my head hurts because, oh, I'm so, you know, you see people do that. It will take over your speech slowly. You'll start being a negative Nancy towards people. You know, this guy. What is this guy doing? Anyways, so you could really lose track of who you want to be and how you treat people. Females, you know, females don't understand. Most of them won't understand what you're talking about. Most guys won't either. It's not, maybe just not a female thing, but you know, females live in a different world. And then you can't go home and say, oh man, I fucked up this dude, and you know, this guy was that, and this guy was touching this dude in the cell, because you'll see a lot of gay stuff. A lot of people get punked up in jail. You'll see a lot of that. A lot of people think they're tough because they go to jail, and they just become someone's bitch. Or you know, if you're in a heavy gang unit, you know, gangs run the cell block, and then you got to find the shot caller, because you'll never know who the shot caller is. So that's, you got to keep your nose in the air for that. You know, you got to. You know, even though he's a dirtbag criminal, man, you gotta treat. Prisoners have a rank and file, and you don't have to abide by it, but you have to know what it is. You have to know what it is. You can't just, or you can, and officers do that. They don't give a shit. They go in there and they treat everyone like whatever, and they talk bad or tell, you know, whatever. I know there's bad officers. Those are the guys that will get got eventually. Because you spend only 8 hours in their home. They spend multiple jobs still at the same prison. He will get you eventually. It's just a matter of time. They have all the time in the world, and you have 8 hours or 12 hours or 16 hours to be perfect. So asking someone to be perfect all the time is incredibly difficult. But if I ask you to just treat everyone normal, and when someone crosses your path and gives you shit, the inmates to the left or right of them will correct that guy's issue, because you have to almost be the cool parent, the cool officer. You got to be able to joke with them. You got to be able to shoot the shit with them. Inmates are funny, man. Criminals are the funniest fucking people in the world, because they don't give a crap. There's no social structure in their head. They can care less. So the shot callers, man, they probably raped and tortured people. If you want to go in there and treat the shot caller like shit and take away his stuff or whatever, go for it. But one of those gang members will get you eventually. Or if there's some sort of riot, which happens, or I don't know, because you'll be surrounded by inmates all the time. It's not like you're in some freaking bell tower with a shotgun. You're not even armed inside a prison. It's just you, and you wear a stupid uniform. So if you're around, you're going to be outnumbered 100 to 1. Anytime those guys can start taking over spots, and if you get caught in that, you better make sure those inmates will protect you. You don't do anything crooked for them. You be honest. You have courage with them. You be something that they never seen before. That's what I want you to be. That is the goal. Because when shit hits the fan, they're still human. And if they have you surrounded, there's going to be some people in there that are going to be like, no, man, this guy's legit. He doesn't bust us. He treats us respect. And it's all about respect. He doesn't fuck up our cell. And when he does, they know. So there's no buffering like on a loading screen. They're not like, well, no, this guy. When people get in trouble, he doesn't take it out on all of us, because it's like a dorm, man. Like, what do you want to do? So you always treat people with respect, and they will tell you how they want to be treated. Hey, what's up, Duck Gaming? How you doing, brother? Welcome to the stream, bro. Welcome to the stream. Sorry, guys, I'm going through a bad area. But if your name has some weight to it, as in you're in the news, Aaron Hernandez, you become a target immediately, because you'll have if like a new gang member is there, or just anybody in jail, and what was I going to say? Well, if a new gang member, someone wants to make a name for themselves, basically what I'm trying to get at. If someone wants to make a name for themselves, you're going to be the target. You're going to be the target. So if there's any famous people going inside the big slammer, they'll become the target for sure. For sure, I've watched your videos, and I don't know if you want to bring it up, but I'm sorry for your loss. Oh, man. Hey, Duck Gaming, I appreciate that. No, man, I lost my two best friends. One of them was in the Marine Corps with me, and the other was my best friend growing up. One of them hung himself, and the other one shot himself in the face. Thank you, brother. I do appreciate your kind words. That's why I started the channel, I guess. I mean, it helps me, and I get to meet new people, and someone needs help too, I could give them some advice, because I didn't give advice to any of my buddies. I'm too busy with life, I don't know. But Doug Gaiman, I do appreciate it, man. Thank you. The kind words, man. Amen. Yes, amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Absolutely. I couldn't, and they don't say anything. It's not like they emailed me or text me, say, hey, brother, I'm not doing so good. Can you come up here and talk to me? They didn't do that. They didn't do anything. They just did it. There wasn't a first attempt. They didn't make it seem like a big deal. They didn't write my best friend filmed it, and then my best friend in the Marine Corps, he kind of wrote a note and had pictures up in his car, because he drove out to the desert and shot himself. What can you do, man? I was heartbroken, man. It did crush me. I didn't know. I was lost for quite some time, so I appreciate it. And if you have it bad, I always say there's someone worse, even worse than me. I never thought in a million years I can ever say that my two best friends committed suicide. That's a weird thing to say. So with like the Iraq War and being in the Marine Corps and working for a police department and training new cadets or new boots to become something better, greater than themselves, with the suicides of my two friends, and just experience through work, I have a lot to say, and I just want to say it to everyone that wants to listen and have a record of everything I've been through, so it doesn't happen again, or my nephews can look at this 100 years from now, or what, I don't know, man. I just my mother told me I should write a book, because one day I finally talked to her about all this stuff. And your mom's always going to give you a pat on the back, but my mom's kind of mean. Nah, she's real honest. I love my mom, but moms are truthful, and ladies don't like to be bullshitted, right? So after I told her all this, she was like, man, you need to write a book, or you need to write this stuff down. And I was so I watched this guy, Jack Morgan. I just hit him up. So Jack, if you're watching, Simplify, brother. I don't know him. I doubt it, but I used to watch him, and he's a comedian guy, just giving he's funny and he's honest. I was sitting there listening to him. He's all, man, if you're watching me, you should do this too. So I finally figured out what I wanted to say, and just give lifelong lessons to everyone. If you want to do something I did, I can help you, but it does take a toll on your body and my back and my mental state. But I'm still here, man. I still go to the gym every once in a while and punch the punching bag, and I still enjoy life, and that's the best advice I can give anyone. There's no pyramid structure you need to climb. All because this person's doing that and that person's doing this. Well, what am I doing? That's the wrong answer to have. Don't put yourself in a box. I am, when you talk to someone, oh, I'm a stockbroker I live here, I have a house, Yeah. Oh, yeah, I work for Fortune 500 or Google. None of that matters, man. What matters is if you can go home happy, see your family, you go through an experience, so when you're older, or, it doesn't, older means when you're 10 years from now, it doesn't matter how old you are, you have some experience to pass down, because knowledge is passed down from person to person, generation to generation. But that's it for today, gentlemen. Thanks for joining me in the compound. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Oh, vote. Let's see if Ukraine will win the war. Oh, they will. All right, we're good. But thanks for liking, subscribing, guys. I appreciate it. If anyone else is listening, Semper Fi. Take care, guys. Low-C, good night, brother. Semper Fi, man. Thanks for being here. I can always count on you up in the skybox. See you later, guys.